Okay, yes, I am live. And I am hoping that someone out there will let me know that you can see and hear me. As you may have figured out by now, we are not meeting in person today. Oh, good, Angela. Hello. Thank you. And Angela, you win. So let me know for what you would like me to do, a spiritual mind treatment, and I'll do that. Stephanie, you also win. That is fabulous. So, yes, we are not meeting live, and that was a decision, with all that going on. And let's just calm down and organize ourselves, get ourselves, back to our center, away from the world. And today we are going to begin completing 2021 in a full way, in a way that really will release us into a much more wonderful, free, and clear 2022. So I'm going to begin with a spiritual mind treatment. All right, so this word is being spoken for each and every one. There is only one life, and that life is God's life. And God's life is good because God is infinitely intelligent and all powerful. It is only going to create good. Therefore, that which is good is the all good expressing itself. And this divine presence, this divine creator wants to create goodness in, through, as, and all around each one. And so anything in each one that would inhibit or stop or slow down the creation of the all good in his or her life is erased, vanished, released, gone, done, so that each one is bright, shiny, brand new, created as the divine creator intends, and is able to experience more good than ever before. I am grateful that this is the truth. I release this word to God's loving law, knowing that's the law that makes things, therefore it is done, and so it is. There. Okay. All right. So this is so nice. I love being at home. I miss it. So I may actually in 2022 start doing something Facebook Live more frequently outside of Sundays. So stay tuned to see how that might unfold. But anyway, Mary and Kathy are here. Susan, good morning. Regina, Clea is here too. John, moving day for John and David. They're waiting for furniture. So they are finally going to be in their brand new home. Yay! Awesome. Reverend Rich is here. He's our practitioner of the day. Robert, our Princeton famous artist, is here. Gary is here. All right, so keep checking in, letting me know that you're here, and I'll say hi as I get myself together. However, all right, so I have announcements. I'm the welcomer, I'm the practitioner, and everything else. What can I say? Announcements. Okay, so this Sunday we are virtual, but do not be concerned. Next Sunday we will be live, and we will combine our burning bowl ceremony with writing a letter to your future self. So we'll have two great rituals in one day, which actually is the way a lot of other centers do that. So I kind of split things to make double our fun. But anyway, we'll double our fun all next Sunday. So stay tuned for that. This Wednesday, we are having the Wednesday evening inspiration that Susan leads us in, and she has texted me that we are indeed having it, and the final week using the topic of the light. If you would like to join that, go to our website, cslprinceton.org, and you can click on the link to register and see all the instructions there. And also, Susan also posts here on our Facebook page the instructions each week. So you should be able to find it. If not, let me know you can't find it. Let her know you can't find it, and we'll get you there. Deja, good morning. Good. Now, also, big announcement Friday. That's this Friday. That's 5 days from now. New Year's Eve at 6:40. The doors open for our Zoom virtual participation in the World Healing Meditation that was developed decades ago by John Randolph Price. And let me get my, so the doors open at 6:40. It's the virtual room on Zoom. Our practitioners, Damaris, John, and Susan are leading it. And you can go to our website. I've got it posted there with the Zoom link. So you can join that. And also on our Facebook page, we've got that Zoom link so that you can join. I will be there. I promise you, I will be in my pajamas with a delightful beverage. So we are all blessed living on the East Coast of the United States, being able to participate in this World Healing Service, which is scheduled for noon Greenwich time. So for us, it's 7 a.m. And so even though we'll be meeting in our individual room, we know that there's probably hundreds of thousands, if not a million people worldwide, all doing it at the same time. So let's finish this year, December 31st, with some thoughtful intention and an activity of love and compassion for the world. So that'll be good. All right. Mark your calendars, January 23rd. On Sunday, we're going to have a live workshop. Who are you anyway? I'll be announcing that more after we have our big events over this week. So, today's topic, perfect endings. And it is based upon what two of my spiritual teachers, Lloyd Strom and Marcia Sutton, have said, and it really affects me deeply to realize that incomplete endings inhibit new beginnings. So a lot of times we might be wanting to create something new in our lives, something wonderful, and wonder why there's a delay, wonder why nothing is happening. And that treatment that I gave, that spiritual mind treatment I gave, makes reference to it, that the situation is this. The divine is the all good, and it wants and is intending to, and actually is creating good for us, and only good for us. And the only reason why we don't experience is we get in the way. It's us. It may be our beliefs, it may be our habits, it may be our strongly formed opinions about the way things should be. It may be something that just our participation in the human race. We may not even be aware of how we're blocking it. But if we aren't experiencing complete good on every level of our being, on all planes of action, it's us that's in the way. And so for this week, before we finish the year, we are giving ourselves an extra week to prepare for next Sunday's activities, of writing down everything that we want to be complete about and leave in this year, never see again. And we'll write that on a piece of paper and burn it up, and then to turn to the good that we desire to experience into 2022. So this entire week, if you're here now, I know that this entire week this is going to be on your mind. And just notice what comes up for you. And have that additional awareness of asking yourself, do I want to bring this into next year? If you're like me, I have a veterans pickup scheduled for this Wednesday. I scheduled it a couple of weeks ago. I don't have a pile of stuff to give away yet, but I plan on going through my home and touching things and saying, is this something I want to bring into 2022 with me? In other words, if I were to be packing into a suitcase all that I want to bring into 2022 with me, would this make the cut? And if not, maybe I want to release it. So one of the things, the activities that you might have this week is take out the trash. The stuff that's broken. Now, all of you know my saga of my TV set. I am happy to report that my new TV is working. And the old TV is still sitting there. It's heavy. So my beloved brother, as a special Christmas present for me, is coming tomorrow to finish the setup of my new TV physically, but he'll also help me take that old TV out. And then, it'll go to wherever the appropriate recycling is. So take out the trash physically. One of the various people out there who motivate and inspires us likes to ask us a series of questions as we prepare for the new year. And some of those questions I have ready to give to you. So that's why I suggested, get something to write with, because you might want to write down these questions and think about them this week. The first thing, this is from my beloved David Allen, who wrote Getting Things Done, and certainly has gotten quite a bit done in his life. When he was talking about New Year resolutions, he said to think of it in terms of resolutions, as in resolving. And so the first question to ask yourself is, what is it that you want to resolve? Finish, complete, mark off as done. What is it that you want to resolve? And so some of those things might be regrets. Is there something in your life, a decision that you've made in your life that you've regretted? Is there opportunities that have come by that you didn't seize and then you regretted? Those old opportunities are gone. We know there are infinite opportunities ahead of us, but we're not going to be able to see the new opportunities ahead of us if we're regretting a missed opportunity of our past. So this week, you might want to consider resolving any regrets, to somehow decide, I'm done with it. I now will do spiritual work to accept its equivalent or better in my life. One of my old regrets was that I never really became a ballerina. I never got serious about dance classes. When I was very young, I was a teacher had indicated that I had a lot of potential and I could go to the blah 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 and become a blah blah blah. Didn't do it. And so a number of years ago, I decided to make peace with that. And the only way that I could make peace with it is to realize there's infinite opportunities. So I claimed that I am a dancer, its equivalent or better. And all of you know what's happened. I'm actually in a ballet class and I have a tutu. So, and it is better. It is so much better because it's given to me here and now. I treasure it so much more, and nobody expects me to dance on point shoes. And I didn't have to spend so much of my life engaged in that kind of activity. So there's no regret about that in me whatsoever. No regret. And I know that each and every one of you can take any old regret and convert it into the now opportunity that is possible for you, and see what it is. So take a look at anything that you regret. Take a look at anything or anyone that you resent. Raymond Charles Barker, in one of his books, has a chapter called Resentment is Ruin. And it doesn't matter who it is, what it was, how justified you are in that resentment, how whether that person really intended to do you wrong or it was unintentional, it doesn't matter. The problem with resentment is it closes down love. And all love. It affects all love. I used to have a list of people who done me wrong. And I got into this teaching, read that chapter, Resentment is Ruin, and I made a list of, and it was quite a long list. But even though none of those people are in my life anymore, as I started practicing forgiveness toward each one, new, more harmonious and perfect people for me started coming into my life. But even more than that, I experience an inner feeling of love more than I ever did when I was building my list of resentments. So resolve to let go of some resentments. If you have forgiveness work to do, resolve to do that forgiveness work, or resolve to set intentions to forgive each and every person in your life. Yes, it's because, first things first, you, right? Set yourself free. But I actually had an experience yesterday. I hope the person never watches this video. But I did have this experience where someone from my past came into my world. And my usual response would be a temptation to be a little snarky. And I thought, oh, let's be nice. Let's be nice. And so I did. The point I'm making was, if I hadn't done the forgiveness work that I just completed the past couple of weeks, I don't think that thought even would have come in my mind. I think my choice would have been, let's say something snarky, or if you can't say something nice, let's say nothing at all. I might have said nothing at all. But there was another choice, which I believe I only could see because I had done that forgiveness work, which had nothing to do with that particular person. It had to do with all people in me. So there you go. You got some bad memories? Let's resolve to fix that. Fix that. Resolve to, we're in this teaching, change your thinking, change your life. This is what I know about memories. Number one, no one ever remembers anything correctly. You may swear on the Science of Mind textbook that your memory is accurate, but the psychologists have done tests. Believe me, you remember incorrectly. So since we remember incorrectly anyway, let's deliberately remember the event in a way that makes us happy. So one of the things you might want to contemplate this week is resolving some bad memories. Make up a different story about it that makes you feel better, that makes you released from it. And the psychologists have shown if you start telling yourself that story, frequently enough, eventually you'll begin to believe it. And it is done unto us as we believe. So since we can't prove our facts, I am right, I remember it right. My brother and I, whenever we get together, we lived in the same house. We were raised in the same house. I swear. Yesterday he said, "Remember when blah 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 blah." We had our cousin living with us. Remember when he, set the garage on fire of our neighbor, next door neighbor? And I'm like, I don't remember that. I'm 5 years older. You would think I would remember something like that, but nope. He remembers it. I don't remember it. So who's right? Create in your mind, deliberately create memories that you enjoy to remember. Why not? Who cares? It's what's going on in you. And as we know in the science of mind, if it's what you have in your consciousness, it's created for you. So rather than thinking of awful memories, and many of us had a lot of experience that right this past month in being with family, being with the old acquaintances, and old memories may have come up. Change them. Just change them. Resolve to get rid of it. So in these resolutions, the things you can, once you've got your list, I invite you also to consider the question, what is still bugging me about my life? For those of you who wrote a letter to your future self last year, you will be receiving that letter this week. And I know in my letter, there are a number of items that I have been putting on that letter every year for 20 years. And even though I've made progress, I've made improvement, I know that the letter I write next Sunday will have that on it some more, because I'm not done. So a good question to ask yourself is, what is still bugging me? What is something that I've been writing on my list, or in the old way of making New Year's resolutions, you've been writing, lose some weight, start exercising, give up this, give up that. What is it that you're just tired of sticking on your list? And if anything comes to mind, then you can ask yourself, is there any way that this can be resolved? And so, tangential to this question, we've got a week, not a week, well, we could say a week before next Sunday, full 7 days, 6 days till the next year. What can I resolve, or what can I complete before 2022 starts? Now, one of the things that I know I will complete, resolve before next year is, I'm setting my intention now, I will put all the gifts that I've been given away. Now, that might not seem much to many of you, but I happen to have a track record of savoring the gifts that were giving me by keeping them in their packages. And in, a few decades ago, it could be many months. Well, what am I talking about? Last year, I didn't put away the cat's Christmas tree until I think it was September. It's out again now. So I'm not resolving to put the cat's Christmas tree away early, but the gifts that I have received, I am resolved to have use of them, to make use of them, put them in their places where I'll be using them, I'll be loving them before next Sunday. That's one of those things. But also it might be, clean a file cabinet. It might be, take a whole lot of stuff out to recycling, or to give to the various places that like to resell things. So as you're thinking about stuff that you want to complete, stuff that is bugging you, you can ask yourself that question. What can I complete before 2022 begins? And then, in preparation for our letter to our December 31st, 2022 self, what projects do you want to resolve you'll have completed by the end of December 31st, 2022? So you can get going right away and you can get ready to get going during next year. I like that question. And another question, this is by one that Jesse Ecker, E-K-E-R, came up with a couple of years ago. What am I tolerating that I know I shouldn't be anymore? I think what am I tolerating in my life, business, or career, or in myself, that I know I should not be anymore? What am I putting up with? Well, as you know, again, my old TV set, tolerating it. But there could be habits in yourself that you are tolerating. There could be some sort of, for those of you who may be dealing with thoughts about how long you have been on the planet, there may be a toleration or an allowing of your life to somehow get smaller, to become more limited. And so it might just be an unconscious, slow, gradual acceptance of less living, less enthusiasm, less spirit of life, less livingness. That may be creeping in. I know that's what I have to take a look at. But also, there may be situations that the world is presenting you that you're just tolerating. Maybe you don't speak up. Maybe there's some people in your life that have always been the way that they are, but you've been growing spiritually, you've been growing in so many ways, and maybe their behavior toward you, maybe it's time to just not tolerate it anymore, to let them know that, and maybe perhaps to say goodbye, or have a good, honest communication with them where you say, I've changed. Nothing wrong with you or what you're doing, but I just cannot tolerate this particular experience with you anymore. And is there something we can do together to improve it, to change it? Or are you happy with it that way? In which case, I'm going to have to cut back? I don't know. But, you know, whenever I think about that, oh, I do mostly come up with thoughts of what I don't want to tolerate in myself anymore. Like, I don't want to, I've worked so hard this year in practicing not tolerating bleh mood. Not that I'm all happy and giggly all the time. I just don't, I'm just done with anything less than positive. But the invitation to be, crabby or just dull or just pessimistic keeps creeping in. And so I know that I'm going to have on my list that I don't want to tolerate that anymore, that attitude. I want to have a good attitude, or as I wrote, for those of you who saw the little posting before we started our service, that I want to have a hopeful attitude. I know that this coming year, I need to actively and consciously create a hopeful attitude toward this world and to humanity. I want to make sure that I believe that we all are getting better, moving forward. I find that hard to do when I look at the news. But the news is always what someone wants to point out. It's not necessarily the all information that's going on in the world. And so, in all that infinite stuff that's going on in this world, surely I can believe that there's more good in it than bad. Well, I got to work on that because I've slowly let the yuck of the what comes to my attention enter into me, and it's just been this gradual souring of how I view the world. And on my personal credo list, I have that in order to be happy, I have got to believe that the world, that humanity is improving and getting better. I have to believe it to be happy. And I want to be happy. And again, it is done unto us as we believe. So, last question, almost last question, but for our completion list, what do I want to do in my life that I have been putting off? So this is a question looking forward to 2022. The past couple of years, many of us have put off our plans, vacations, but I know, and I'm so amazed at how many of you have actually made strides forward with your goals. We have had people change their life situation, relocate, buy a new home, move forward, start businesses, grow in their faith, in their trust. So many of us in our spiritual community have really moved forward with their deeply felt goals. Am I one of them? I'm inspired by you, each one of you, when you move forward. Now I want to inspire myself more, right? So what have I been putting off? What have you been putting off? And so for your writing to your future self, you can know, all right, what have I been putting off? Blah, 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 blah. A trip, a this, a whatever, a lifestyle change, a da, 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 da. Okay. But then the other question to ask for the burning bowl ceremony is, and why am I not doing it? Why am I putting it off? Yeah. I know the world is strange. Let's just say that. But there are people accomplishing and fulfilling themselves in this very strange world. And maybe what we're experiencing now is similar to the Depression back in the 30s, 1930s, when religious science ministers were writing books saying, look at these people, unemployed, down and out, filled with debt, in a world situation that is not helping. These people turn to spiritual prayer and truth, and look what they accomplished in that situation. So why can't each and every one of us be one of those people who, even in this world situation, which, look, that, a little side note, stuff happens, right? Stuff happens. You thought things were going to be like this, and then blah, 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 something out of the blue happens. Stuff happens. We don't want to condemn ourselves for the stuff that happens. Maybe we got sick, maybe something happened, stuff happens. That's not what our lives are made of. Our lives are made of what we do with the stuff that happens. So as I was working with my new TV set, at the beginning, look, why am I putting it off? I was putting off buying a new TV for at least 4 years. So the question to ask is, why am I putting it off? Why did I put off? Well, I know the answer now. The answer is I didn't believe that I love technology and technology loves me. Now, you all know I've been working on this. And as I started moving forward in getting my TV and getting it set up, which I had to talk to the cable company, then they had to mail me something, then I had to return something, then I had to talk to the TV people, then I had to read instructions, then I had to, you know, call on divine wisdom to assist me and da, 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 da. Well, something happened in this process. I actually felt something in me switch. So I thought, ooh, this is fun. I wonder how it'll get figured out. I wonder what bright idea will emerge that will suddenly have the television working. I didn't make it happen. Lord knows I did spiritual work, but I shifted maybe in more than just that instance from, oh my gosh, how annoying, something to complain about with all my friends, post on Facebook, all that sort of stuff. It changed into something like, oh, I wonder how this is all going to work out, because it will work out. So stuff happens. And here you are with your whole life ahead of you. Me too, right? I'm including me. I'm part of the you. Here we are with our whole future ahead of us, starting now. Why put anything off? And instead of that depressing, pessimistic, ugh, I can't do it, it's so hard because the world, blah, 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 maybe we can be like some other people who go, ooh, well, here's a challenge. I wonder how God is going to create the avenue through me for this greater good to happen. And so, one of the questions to consider, maybe on your burning bowl piece of paper, is what beliefs or attitudes or habits or strongly held opinions you might have that are your excuses for putting off your life in your future. So that's the question. All right, having done all that, time to get close to finishing. Final question to complete 2021. A very important question, which you will not, I don't know, it's not something that you're going to end up writing on the burning bowl sheet of paper or the letter to your future self, but it's good information for you to have. And so this very, very, if you do nothing else this week, let me put it this way, answer this question. Make a list of what you did accomplish, complete, or even endured in 2021. What did you accomplish? What did you complete? Or maybe you had the kind of year with all that you can write is, I survived. For each and every one of us, we did survive. And given the givens, that is an accomplishment. But we might have also done some other things. Maybe, like me, I finally got the new TV set. Write it down. I think it's so important. Well, let me put it this. A couple of years ago, when I was asked this question in completing my year, I made a list of what I accomplished. And I came up with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 items that I or was accomplished around me. And even today, so this was a couple of years ago that I made this list, and it still makes me feel good. And I think it's important for us to have this information about ourselves because chances are you're not going to remember all that you accomplished. You're not going to remember that you were perhaps afraid to leave your house, afraid to go into a grocery store. I have a friend whose first venture out into the world after all of this isolation was to go to a school and pick up some information for her child. And it was shocking. And and yet she was able to do it. So given the weird year that we had, don't take for granted those little steps that you might have made. The day when you might have gone out into the woods or something without wearing a mask. Or maybe you, I don't know, I have friends who are like going to concerts and stuff. The first time that you venture out into the world, it's a success. Maybe you just kept your family together. Maybe you learned how to cook something. Maybe you had a different perspective on someone. Maybe you did do a lot of forgiveness work, a lot of spiritual work. So I invite you to spend some time, I'm going to, making a list of what you accomplished, what you completed, or even what you endured. Because even if we just endured, it's that part of us, that divine self in us, that helped us endure it. So I'm thinking of two of our friends, right, who might be really busy right now, went through, major upheaval in their whole home and all that they had to go through to reset up their home and get it all done. And here it is, their moving day. That's a combination of enduring, but it's something to be celebrated. It's an achievement. So wherever you are with that, make sure that you take some time to give yourself some credit. Maybe all you had, actually, okay, let me put it this way. One of my accomplishments for 2021 is that so far, I have gone through this early holiday season without putting on any new weight. This is an accomplishment for me because the past few years, we don't want to talk about it. But even that, I'm putting that on my list because I had to work and be intentional about it, and I have achieved it. So good. All right. So that I see that Regina has put up our information for our website, cslprinceton.org, where, first of all, every one of you, spiritual prayer work, spiritual treatment work is offered to anyone who wants it. Tell your friends, tell your relatives. Go to our website. You'll see that little link for prayer request. Fill it out. It's confidential. It will be sent to one of our practitioners, 14 strong, who will do spiritual work for an entire week for that. So that's there. How you contribute to our center is there through PayPal. There's a little link there. You do that. Since we're not in service this day and you want to make a year-end contribution, if you send us a check and date it December 31st, I will put it in as December 31st. Or next Sunday, if you want to date your checks December 31st, I'll put it in December 31st. So whatever, that's all there. And also the information for our Wednesday evening inspiration this Wednesday, World Healing Meditation Friday morning, 6:40 a.m. If you want me to send you a reminder, let's see. If you want me to call your phone and wake you up, send me your phone number through our website. I'll call you up. I'll wake you up. So be careful with that one. All right. And next week, we'll get back on track together and virtually. We'll also be here virtually. All right. So there it is. Before I close with the treatment, people are, loves. Thank you all. Deja's here too. Regina's here. Susan's here. Okay, good. All right, so this is my final spiritual mind treatment for us to complete 2021. This word is being spoken for each one. There is only one life, and that life is the life that God is creating and is living. And God is the all good, all powerful, all knowing, all peace, all divine qualities, including harmony and joy. And so I am now knowing that this divine universal presence knows each one intimately, through and through, and is guiding each one with the perfect ideas this week that are the ideas, the solutions, the divine guidance that is perfect for each one to end this experience of 2021 in a satisfying and even fulfilling way, a way that is clean, that each one will be able to let go of this year and start 2022 with a cleaner slate, even cleaner than birth, because even race consciousness won't be there. So that each one has a cleaner slate to start 2022 than ever before. And so whatever anyone needs to know or heal or release or contemplate or realize, it is so done. And so each one has a wonderful final few days of this year experiencing gratitude for all that had been given, all that had been accomplished, all that had been achieved, fulfilled, all that had been released. And each one in this here now moment is realizing that this life that he or she has been given is a good life, and that the future is bright with promise, and greater good is the only experience that will occur in 2022. Greater good than ever before. This, I know, is the truth of each one. It is the divine desire for each one. All of heaven and earth is moving and colluding to make this so for each one. And each one just simply allows it to transform themselves so that each one is, more than ever before, their true self. The self that each one senses is home. This is good, all good, and I am grateful that there is a creative law that makes it so. And so it's done, and so it is. And that's the way it is. Thank you all for coming, and hope to see you Friday morning, 6:40 a.m., and next Sunday. Bye-bye.